Yeah. I mean, they could get hit with the ad anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
That's true. Yeah. I know. Ooh, we already got a like on the stream. That's what I like. I love it when they like it. That's how things work for me. I'm checking Twitch because I have us set in Twitch to do podcast now. I think
Okay.
maybe.
We're live now.
Yep,
So,
we are. We're just kind of hanging out.
yep. Until people start showing up. Got
Yeah.
some extra likes.
All right. I threw us under there. How's everyone doing today? This is chapter 51 of the Making Awesome podcast. I am joined by Justin. And we're just going to hang out, let some people get in here. We are going to be doing all about STONKS.
We need to get the backgrounds for our Zoom that just has the stonks.
That would be funny. Yeah. I should, but I didn't, so too bad. uh, we've seen that you guys love stock talk, and last time we had Olivia on. We're going to have a really cool guest coming on in a couple of weeks. But today it's just Justin and I, because neither of us have any experience when it comes to financial planning. So we're just going to go for it. Encoding overloaded. Consider turning down. You're fine. You're fine, computer.
Air quotes.
You're fine. Nah, computer's just mad. It's fine. Anyways, we're going to be talking about stocks today because a lot of 3D printing companies have gone public this year, and we kind of want to talk about them a little bit. I keep getting encoding overloaded. Can someone verify that we're looking okay? Hope you loaded 2 weeks ago. Albarello says, we are not going to talk about our personal stocks. One, because Justin's underage. Oh, there you go, Justin. Now that's the background to have. That's the background to have. I'm all right with this. But yeah, because John says it is kind of skippy. All right. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, let me start killing things on my side. Hold on. We gotta cut some things down here. If I close out of that, everything should get a little bit better. Probably. We'll hope. Video, not audio. Okay, well, hey, as long as the audio's okay, then, I'm fine.
I mean, you just have to look at us, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, so a lot of companies have gone public this year, and we pulled a few. So we pulled a list of some out there because it's been kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
So we've got
really crazy.
What?
It's really crazy that like the AM industry pretty much boomed since COVID, but it kind of does show why the AM industry is so strong, is that it doesn't need to be in person. It can be very decentralized. That's the best part of it, and that's like where I think that it's going to end up going, and that we're going to get pushed to, is having more decentralized manufacturing and not having these big factories that it could be somewhere in like a smaller maker space in your neighborhood with some experts, or even like, for example, Desktop Metal, who went public this year, has like a shop that you can go to, or 3D Musketeers that you can go to that's local to you, and you can get your parts made without having to get it done overseas. I think that's really where it's going to come down to, and
it's totally true. And desktop's been kind of the big one that everyone's been focusing on, and they're focusing on it because of their whole thing with X1. But I think we're missing out on some of these reasonably as large, if not larger, companies that, have also gone public. So we found a website that says every 3D printed stock and share price publicly traded in 2021. It's definitely wrong, but that's okay. And what we
I don't think it might be ones that went public. It's just anything that is publicly traded.
Maybe.
During this year. I don't know.
But we look at this market and we say there's a lot of opportunity. Now, before we get too far, wow, it is really choppy.
It's pretty choppy. Yeah, I was going to say that.
I literally don't know how to fix it, which is weird.
Can you change the bit rate?
Not while I'm streaming. I'd have to stop and restart. I mean, I can. Let's see. Yeah, because like I just tried changing it, but it won't let me change it unless we stop. I mean, I can stop real quick.
It looks a little better now.
I'm like trying to close. You know
everything.
What? Let me
close the Chrome tabs.
Yeah, I'm gonna close some Chrome tabs. That's all that we're gonna do. we're gonna what's today?
The 28th.
Yep. 140 tabs. Yeah. Uh-oh.
That is painful, Grant.
Okay. All right. I just, yeah. I'm busy. All right. I just closed a bunch. Like, I closed at least half of them. So
140 tabs.
Yeah. Don't at me.
I will at you.
Don't do that.
I will.
You like working, don't you?
Yeah.
No, the issue is that I have a 4770K. All right. No, Jonathan. You know, John, just stop. Like that's not true. And yes, it is normal for me to have a bunch of stuff open because, like most business owners, I do a bunch of things at once.
And you just don't close anything after you're done with it.
Yeah, and it says encoding overloaded. Consider turning down video settings. All right, give me just a second. I have to kill the stream to do it, so give me just a second. I'm gonna turn down the stream out settings. I'll be right back. All right. We should be good. It's still overloading. What the hell? Encoding overloaded. Consider turning down the video settings.
It looks better now, though.
Okay. Well, hey, as long as it looks better, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Well, keep going, Justin. I'm going to be working on changing some stuff over here, and we hope that it'll work.
Albareo says, like...
set to 720p. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, and he asked a question before we...
What did he ask? Do you have some kind of insight from the industry regarding the increase of the demand of metal 3D printers from various manufacturers? I can't... Oh, my God. Justin, can you handle the metal thing while I try to handle this? I'm being bombarded by my brother.
Yeah. No, like, I say, like... I mean, there's not inside information, but, like, we have some insight on, like... We've seen with all the public numbers that X1 puts out, Desktop Metal puts out, yeah, we are growing in this, that aspect of the industry is really growing. Like, when you see what SpaceX is doing, what Rocket Labs is doing, what all these, like, just if you only look at aerospace right now, the metal 3D printing is blowing up. What was the other one that Veritasium did the video on?
Oh, God. Relativity Space?
Yeah, I mean, they're using printers ranging from, like, SLA, I'm not going to say the F word, printers, or just regular plain old FDM, or they have, like, the sand, that X1 does, right? That's X1, is the sand printing. And, like, and then they have, like, this giant, pretty much, TIG welding one.
Yeah, it's more of a MIG welder, but it's EBM, technically.
Yeah. Really?
I think it is.
It'd be
Yeah.
EPM?
I don't get it.
Oh,
It's
okay.
telling me that the stream encoding is overloaded. My computer is sitting at 70% CPU usage. There is nothing that I can do here. Like, literally
It's
nothing
not.
that I can do to
Is
fix
it
this.
not using NVENC?
It can't use NVENC.
Oh,
I'm streaming at 30 FPS, so I'm not lowering that whatsoever.
yeah.
I've already cut down the bit rate. I can keep cutting down the bit rate, but yeah, no. OBS is the problem. OBS is overloading, but OBS should be fine. So, video's
That's
okay.
weird.
I can't encode as I'm using GPU 0, and that's the only GPU that I have, I think. I don't know.
Yeah. GPU 0 would be your main GPU.
Sure. Okay. No, GPU 1 is my GPU.
That's oh, you have onboard graphics. Never mind.
I have onboard
I don't
graphics.
I don't have onboard graphics because mine all said GPU 0 is the one that's getting loaded right now. Because like OBS is hitting it pretty hard right now for my virtual cam.
Well, I don't know. I'm getting yelled
It's
at
fine.
of what to do here, and so I we might have to kill the stream again. There's really nothing that I can do to fix it. So just
It's
keep.
fine. We can leave it. We get choppy for a second, but if our audio is fine,
Yep,
that's really all
it
that
is what it
matters.
is.
Like
All right, just keep going. I'm gonna keep trying to fix it.
yeah. I mean, just looking at the aerospace industry, like that's booming, which is bringing bringing the additive industry with it because that's all you're doing in aerospace until you get something something set in stone with NASA or someone, and that's like what your contract is. You're not going to be changing it anymore. You're rapidly prototyping, and that's where 3D printing and AM really is the solution, is that you have these rapid iterations. I mean, even from the hobbyist level and or like the service bureau level with 3D Musketeers, like we'll design something 99% of the time before that part is even finished printing. We're on revision 2 because we start seeing how we can improve it while it's printing a lot of the time.
It's true.
Because once you can finally hold it and see what it looks like and not just on the computer screen, you can notice a lot more than just looking at the CAD. And like I think that is really where we're going to see additive manufacturing is in aerospace, the automotive industry for sure, especially in like high performance cars. Like we already see it. Bugatti has 3D printed brake calipers.
Oh yeah, and a lot of companies are doing it because when you look at Bugatti, you look at Koenigsegg, you look at the big Rimac, all the larger manufacturers, and I'm still having the issue. Like I have turned it way down. This is so frustrating.
It's fine. It's not cutting out at all now.
Well, it will. It will. Like YouTube is telling me that it is.
It just did. It's fine. Literally, it's fine for now.
With these smaller manufacturers, it doesn't pay to do it a different way. They can cast it, but the casting molds are going to cost them more than it would be to just 3D print it from the beginning. So you're looking at this mass adoption of metal 3D printing because of what's possible. We've seen great changes in laser technology, in the cost of these lasers, and galvos that run those lasers. And when you're able to put multiple lasers inside of a machine, and yes, it's going to take like 15 hours for the machine to get to temperature and stay at temperature. It's just kind of the way that it works. If you can run those as fast as possible, that's how you succeed. It's all about speed. So, yeah. I mean, that's...
I mean, you probably wouldn't see a 3D printed part on a Honda Civic. It will be in these higher end, lower production number cars is where we'll end up seeing it a lot more, and or really high performance tuning. I mean, Donut Media has a great video on how there's a company that does the sand casting and makes engine blocks with that.
Yep.
And doing that, you can get over 1,000 horsepower Supra very easily. And within like the first month and a half of it being out, the new Supra, and like it's pretty crazy how fast you can iterate and how fast you can design with 3D printing. Like you don't have to go and get it machined by some by someone that could take months and months, and they have to be trained. They have to be in that field for years. I mean, that's something that's passed down machinists from generation to generation. While with additive manufacturing, you can pick it up fairly quickly. I mean, there's experts in this industry like that. Obviously, they'll be able to do it, and but I think the learning curve of that versus having to do it all by hand, it really, I think it's going to end up going hand in hand with each other a lot more. And that, I mean, that's where it already is, especially with metals. You have to almost always machine parts to get certain tolerances compared to just traditional manufacturing.
Yep. Yep. When we look at the stocks, though, right, the big players in metal, Velo 3D is one of them. EOS is going to be another one, but I don't believe EOS is publicly traded. So I'm not certain of what is the right one for metal. Now, of course, Desktop Metal is out there, but Desktop Metal is not a metal 3D printing company. They do FDM style metal 3D printing. That's all that they do when it comes to metal. Now, with their acquisition of X1, this does open up the filled metal, where it's a binder based metal, and then it's poured with brass, bronze, something like that. And that gets you a powder, semi-solid metal solution. It's not great. It's not amazing. But it works probably. Probably maybe works. We have other companies, though. And metal is probably the biggest player right now, strictly because of just kind of everything that's going on in the industry, right? People that run metal printers are going to be getting greater and greater because their cost is coming down. When we were looking at doing metal 3D printing years ago, the cheap ones were $800,000 to $1 million. You can get those same machines, of course, updated a little bit, for closer to $500,000 now, which is putting metal 3D printing. And when we're talking about this, we're talking about DMLS, EBM, the powder-based metal 3D printing. We are not going to talk too much about the desktop metal style metal 3D printing, because desktop metal specifically is not great unless you post-process it. And
you have to post process it. You can't really use the green parts.
In some instances you can. Right?
Oh, really?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, in some instances you can. And that is all dependent on uses. And yes, the new DM printers provide incredible quality and total dense parts, which is what Arborello says. I would question the total dense parts, but we have a friend that can prove that. We have a buddy that likes to put 3D printed parts in CT machines, CT scanners, and yeah, total density, it's not generally true. But
you can make that happen.
Yeah, I believe he's already on it, but
probably
their printers are good, but they're not getting the strength that you're getting out of DMLS, and you're certainly not getting the accuracy. Now, like what Justin was saying, a lot of times they will be post-processed. You're still requiring those high-end machines, but your post-processing time goes down. Turbocharger manufacturers are famous for this now that they're utilizing 3D printing like this.
Yep.
So
I mean, BASF Ultrafuse, I think is what it is, right? That's the metal that you can get from Matter Hackers for like $500 for like 3 kilos.
Oh yeah, and then you can print it on your generic everyday printer. Accuracy is 1%, like he said, and I commend Desktop Metal for utilizing a percentage, because if my part is 6 feet long, 1% of it is a big problem. If my part is 6 millimeters long, 1% I don't care about.
Yeah.
So accuracy, because it shrinks, right? Metal shrinks, and really the movements that we're going to see, I do not believe are in the materials or the machines. It's the software. The software needs to get better, as Mark Forged has shown with their Metal X, with their new blacksmith software. That blacksmith software enables people to basically watch their part in real time and fix it in real time. And that means you're doing less work. Now, Markforged, Desktop Metal, those machines are effectively as close to the same as legally anybody's going to get. And I would guess that both of these companies are going to do quite well. Before we get too far into the actual stocks, we are not financial advisors. This is not financial advice. If you choose to make decisions based off of what we tell you, that's your problem, not ours. We are not experts. Don't look at my stock portfolio as a means to judge me. I don't make great decisions when it comes to things other than AM. But because we're so ingrained in this industry, my decisions on the AM side have generally been pretty damn good.
I've only made one bad call so far, and that was Nikola.
I made a great call with them early on.
I caught it right on the upswing, but I held.
Yeah.
It's fine. I didn't have that much of it, but yeah.
The one I'm salty about, and it was when my back was really bad. Like it's gotten a little bit better since then. There was, I guess Sundial was one of the ones where I could have made a lot of money. I'm still 300% up on that stock. You can judge on mine 236% gains. That's because you played GME and GameStop like a freaking smooth brain ape, and you actually did it. The rest of us are smarter than that.
It's okay. My gains are like that from my Tesla, so.
Yeah, I don't look. I want to just put it in and let it grow.
That's what I just buy and hold, but yeah, Nikola is my one bad call I've had.
Well, it happens. You'll never be 100%, no. And that's okay. Some people, I'm 100%. Join my stock. No, go to hell. There's no way that people can be 100%. And understand, most 3D printing stocks are very cheap. Like, even like 3D Systems right now is like $35 or $40 a share if it hasn't dropped. Oh God, I just put DDD into Google. Okay, good. All right. I got the stock and I didn't get, not safe for work content. Yeah, so they're at $29.99. Literally $29.99. I still kicked myself because I bought at $6 a share or $7 a share for them, and I unloaded at like 15. I'm like, yeah, it's going to be a disaster. And they did a run in February up to 55, like a lot of 3D printing companies did. We look at it and we say, okay, global pandemic normally means things are bad. However, for 3D printing companies, that actually means things are good because people are relying more on domestic manufacturing. The United States specifically deals with a lot of overseas manufacturing, and companies that are doing just-in-time inventory saw their inventories completely die because, nobody was shipping things, and you kind of just have to figure it out. Ultimately, what this meant was if you could produce it domestically, it was made domestically. And yes, we saw a big spin up of traditional manufacturing, but AM went crazy too because, and somebody asked this in the comments of the old video and they asked it earlier today, funny enough. They said, given everything that's occurring right now, the not so great relationship with US and China, what are we expecting in terms of additive manufacturing to take over traditional manufacturing? I said, we are not. We are not expecting this to occur. We're not. No. Additive manufacturing, and I said SLS and MJF, the sintered nylon materials, those are the most closely related to being able to take over, but otherwise 3D printing is just too damn slow. And so when you look at this, do not be investing into the 3D printing stock market thinking that, oh my God, it's going to overtake China, we're going to be able to produce domestically. No, it's not. I don't think. And look, I'll eat crow. I will be more than happy to eat my words if it happens. But I don't, as someone that's been in this industry for over a decade, yes, we are pushing toward it, but we have some limitations that make this thing difficult.
I I agree with you there, and I think one example of it, besides like what I was saying earlier about like aerospace and auto manufacturers and like low production numbers, like stopgap solutions. I mean, look at all of us were printing PPE. Makers were the ones stepping in and printing the PPE because traditional manufacturing wasn't able to. So I think that's kind of where like you need to set up something fast because there's no tooling time. There's a lot of time it's maybe an hour in a slicer depending on a couple hours in a slicer depending on the process. And I mean, you just click print on some of the processes. Some of them you have to obviously, especially metal, you have to be watching a lot closer than an FDM machine.
Yeah,
Uh,
failures on FDM are just like, whatever.
I got a blob of doom, whatever.
Oh, she said that's you, Jay, Rachel said.
Oh, printing face shields.
Oh, yes. Yeah, dude, you made more than we did, didn't you?
And I only had one machine at the time.
Well, you were also not trying to run a business at the time either, so
Yeah. Oh, I was supposed to be doing school too, but I digress.
it was 2020. Just the whole year was a little bit how you
Oh,
doing.
well, it really was when we didn't have school because it was right when we switched to online and the teachers had no clue what they were doing with it.
Mm,
Like I had them at random times. It was fun.
hey, man, when I had a day job back then, I was bringing printers into my day job to
Yeah.
print while I was working because like they don't take a lot of energy, but for us to be able to donate to local hospitals, it made sense.
Yeah.
Now we look at some of the. Let's take a look at some of the companies that have gone public. I mean, we know about Desktop Metal clearly. Mark Forged is another one. Okay, and if this keeps going, I'm gonna give us an ad break, and I'm gonna kill the stream real quick. I'm gonna go down to
Okay.
720p, which I think is what I'm gonna end up doing and seeing if
Okay.
it works. But I think it's OBS. I actually believe it's OBS.
You probably just need to reboot your computer, but
It's only been on for 7 days. That's not that bad for this computer. But either way, um, we saw we saw Desktop Metal. We know about them, right? Their big acquisition. We have Markforged, which went with a SPAC, right? So can you talk a little bit about a SPAC for us? Because SPACs have been the way that 3D printing companies have decided to go public this year. It's the new thing to do. Go public with a SPAC. So can you talk about that one?
yeah, so it's really another company ends up going public by buying the company is kind of my understanding,
That's my
right?
understanding as well.
And like it allows these smaller companies that might not have the capital and like these big rounds that they went through with lots and lots of money that they're able to go public and raise the funds without having some giant investors already in there. So it kind of allows like different funds and different and even retail traders to end up getting in and be able to allow that company to grow. I
Right.
mean, it's not even just in the AM industry. There's like it seems like it's gonna be the way a lot of companies are going right now. Like,
Because it's like IPO light,
yeah,
right? It
yeah,
enables a company that would not normally have the money to go public to easily go public.
yeah. I mean, like Tops is doing it, the baseball card company. Like everyone is doing it right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it's just the AM industry. It because it's too easy to go public now with this.
And when we look at the opportunities out there, IPOs traditionally in the 3D printing industry are bad, bad, bad. Going into an IPO, like investing into a company during its IPO, has traditionally not worked out. You want to wait for people that did buy in, do that initial big tank sell off, and then grab that bad boy at the dip and try to ride it up. But here's the problem: this industry is really tiny. Like really tiny. And yes, this year alone, we've seen it grow 3x minimum on publicly traded companies. But when it was just like the big five, and X1 was one of the big five, when one of them would have a bad quarter, they would all suffer. I don't care if Stratasys had its best quarter ever. If 3D Systems had a bad quarter, everybody went down. And that is not traditional of the stock market. Yes, certain industries will see a lot of that kind of play, but it's never been this rough. This industry specifically sees a lot of that movement. And like the cannabis stocks, like the weed stocks, those stocks are going to do amazing as soon as marijuana is declassified and decriminalized in the United States. Until then, every single time it's talked about it in the news, they all go up. And as soon as it doesn't pass, they all tank. Right? That's traditional. With this industry, 3D printing does not get a lot of news press for reasons that I don't understand. The only press that we all ever seem to get is the 3D printing firearm side of things, and none of us want that. None of us want that as a thing, right? That's not what we want to talk about. But unfortunately, if it bleeds, it leads, and that's what the news media end up coming up with.
I kind of want to jump on the kind of like adjacent tangent from the firearms side.
Yeah,
like,
I'm going to throw an ad break in here, and I'm going to restream at 720p, so we will be right back. Okay. I'm going to throw an ad break in, and I'm going to try to restream at 720p. Okay, thanks. All right, there we go. Now we're back down to 720, and it all should come back. So hopefully that works. I apologize for the technical difficulties. I've never had this particular difficulty ever.
Yeah, no.
And it's still doing it. Cool. Well, something's wrong. We're not going to deal with it today, so we're just going to keep going.
Yeah.
Please check your video resolution. The current resolution is 1920 by 1080, which is not optimal. Open widget. I guess YouTube is mad. Oh, all right. Well, whatever. We're fine again. All right, we're back. Sorry. I'm trying to reduce my stream quality so that maybe things can work better, but we'll see. Anyways, you want to get into, what was it?
Department of Defense, like kind of tangenting off the firearms into something that is actually...
That's a huge one, right? Every big metal 3D printing company...
We're buffering.
We shouldn't be.
Unless it's me.
Yeah, I saw us buffering too. We shouldn't be, but okay. Every big AM company right now wants to be in defense. Even the small ones. We want to be in defense. It's easy money, right? What's the government love to do?
Spend money on defense.
Spend money on defense, right? That's what gets you voters these days. And we know it's coming. Everybody knows it's coming, right? And so instead of, like, previously, it was more profitable to do, let's go with outsourcing is probably the right word. Outsource to a company like 3DM. Now we're seeing a lot of companies insourcing, which is why we're seeing a lot of the buys occurring, because companies like Lockheed Martin and Boeing, Northrop Grumman, they can't wait anymore, right? They need to do stuff, and they need to do it in-house, because the longer that they have to wait, the worse this stuff gets. Yeah, no, we're still having the problem, by the way.
Well, no, we got hit with an ad.
Yeah, you should have. I inserted an ad break.
Oh, right now?
Not immediate. I don't know, man. Like, I'm trying here. Things aren't working. There's literally nothing that I can do. And I'm having a bit of a panic attack trying to figure this out, because we lose people every single time.
No, we're fine. We just got hit with an ad for some reason.
Oh, okay. It says it's not receiving enough video to maintain a smooth stream, but 5,000 kilobits should be... Their widget is completely useless to me as well, so... Whatever. Oh, well.
We're using Streamlabs right now?
Normal OBS.
For streaming?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I can't use Streamlabs. It's too troublesome on my computer.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a 4000 series Intel. It doesn't like basically anything.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's keep going on the defense thing.
Yeah. I mean, we have someone who's in that defense that we all know and is really awesome, and he always shares like these amazing projects that go on in defense. Like, I mean, someone 3D printed an entire hull for a boat,
Yeah.
and like just as a proof of concept, imagine having that, and in some like emergency situation, or we needed to deploy a bunch of boats, being able to 3D print it. I mean, that's way faster than it would have been to traditionally manufacture that. Like, there's some instances where it's much faster, and there's some instances where it could be much slower. It really, there's a tipping point on where AM should come in and where traditional manufacturing should come in.
And so let's look at some of the companies that have gone public, right? And the ones that are public. So we know about Desktop Metal, we know about Markforged. 3D Systems has been public for decades.
Yeah.
Decades they've been public. So that's not a problem. We've got Stratasys public for decades. Proto Labs just went out this year. We know that. Or maybe it was late 2020. Very recently. But the big thing with Proto Labs is that they acquired 3D Hubs. Right? That was their big acquisition. Now, if you told me that Proto Labs acquired 3D Hubs 3 years ago, I'd say it was probably one of the greatest acquisitions in the industry ever, because 3D Hubs was huge.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it doesn't appear that 3D Hubs is a worthwhile investment anymore, right? They are pure hardcore at this point, and they've kind of fallen out of relevance because, well, Proto Labs has been the company. So I think really, I think they were going after the client list. I think the client list is really where they were pushing, and not something else. But yeah, I don't know for sure. Of course, when we look at, beyond Proto, because Proto Labs technically is a competitor to us. We have Materialize, again, another competitor, but Materialize is huge. So we look at the market cap. Proto Labs' market cap, hilariously, is $4 billion for the stock market. And is their share price really still that high? No kidding. Let me see. Proto Labs stock is at $72. So yes, Justin, the article that we found is very old because it says it's $145. Yeah, Proto Labs has not had a... oh my god, their stock was up to $250 in January. Now their stock is trading at a measly 72.
I mean, the market was pretty happy then.
Yeah. Hey, Red/Ace is here. That's Peter of the Cilia Project. You guys can go check out his episode. We are having streaming problems, Peter. I apologize. So if it looks like crap and sounds like crap, I apologize. I don't know. I might have to stop streaming and completely reload OBS, which probably wouldn't be a bad idea at this point. Nonetheless, if it bothers you guys too much, let me know, and I can fix it.
Yeah.
So MT Polo says DM is 85% undervalued while DDD is 168% overvalued, according to Simply Wall Street. And I don't disagree with that. I consistently believe that 3D Systems overvalues themselves and that their stock does better because, unlike a Desktop Metal, what 3D Systems has is experience. And experience means they're probably not going to fail. Yeah. B Last is saying audio seems fine, but the video freezes for a couple of seconds every couple of seconds. Yeah.
I do like 3D Systems ticker.
DDD?
That's a good one.
Well, see, that was back when you could kind of choose whatever you wanted. I think Desktop Metals is good, assuming...
That's good too.
And one of our commenters...
But it's 3Ds, like...
Well, one of the commenters saying that Desktop Metals is going to be changing to Desktop Materials, but I know it's Brad. I didn't want to give that away. I know who B Last is. Come on. But yeah, 3D Systems... Now, MT Polo, go take a look at 3D Systems back in, like, 2015? I think that's when 3D Systems did a run up to, like, $95 a share. And then dove all the way back down to where they were, right? It was fast. That dive happened fast. When we look at them now, we're seeing a similar run, right? It's not as parabolic, but they're running up on the good news of others, right? Now, I've been a shareholder of 3D Systems for a while. I think I have one share left. And the only reason I started, we're going to say investing in 3D Systems, was because I owned some of their machines and I was having a massive trouble getting them serviced. And as a shareholder, you bypass a lot of the BS sometimes. And, you know, when I have $500,000 of machinery that I can't get someone out to service it for 6 months, and I'm just supposed to, like, not run my business for 6 months, that's a problem. So, you know, solve those problems. Yes, okay, now his name is fixed. You know, that's how you solve those problems. I believe that 3D kind of rides the coattails of others. But something I did want to point out is that Materialize is probably one of the largest companies out there when it comes to physical sales, because they have channels all over the world. Now, so does 3D Systems, so does Stratasys, but Materialize is a freaking service bureau. Proto Labs now does as well with their acquisition of 3D Hubs, but I believe that ultimately Materialize is a better buy. Now, saying that, of course, we look at their stock prices, and that's not traditionally true. So we look at Proto Labs versus Materialize. I'm curious to see if they've seen... No, they haven't. So they've... Materialize is down 53% in the past 6 months. Proto Labs is down 51%. It's like service bureaus are hurting right now because companies are insourcing rather than outsourcing. Crazy stuff, right? We're hurting too, for reference. I mean, it's been tough. But we've seen a lot of smaller companies go public with SPACs, right? One of my favorites, and this happened years ago, was Organovo. ONVO is their stock ticker. They kind of suck. Like, their stock kind of sucks, but the company is really cool. And I think Organovo, it's a cheap stock. Let me see where they're sitting at right now. Organovo, they're sitting at $8. It's $7.58 a share right now. They're also down 43% over the last 6 months, but I think a lot of, look at that. February, they peaked at 21, and now they're back down to where they were trading.
Nice.
The pandemic caused a lot of these companies to see massive spikes, and I don't necessarily know if they're going to see that spike again. Oh, we recommend you use a stream bit rate of 2,500 kilobits per second. Seriously, you recommend that low? All right, I'm gonna turn my stream bit rate down some. See if that helps. There, I turn it down to 4,000 from 5,000. Maybe that'll help some. But I look at Organovo and some of the bioprinting companies as a good long-term play, because as soon as they can get FDA clearance and they can prove viability, their stocks are going to explode overnight. And, like, honestly, buy, like, I don't know, if you buy like $20 in shares or $50 in shares and you forget about it, people have spent more money on dumber things. I consistently spend more money on dumber things, like putting gas in a 20-year-old car. You know? Yeah, I know. Complains at how much is gas by you?
Oh, I took a picture yesterday. I filled up my tank yesterday. $4.95.
It's $2.89 here.
Yeah, I think it was $80 to fill up my tank yesterday.
MT Polo saying desktop material is not such a strange idea. They would use it as a mother company name, as DM also created a side brand named Desktop Health. It would not be unrealistic, but I think it is still not indicative of what they do. They're not a materials company, they're a printer company. Now, if they're looking to go into materials more and maybe utilize the X1 brand to take over the manufacturing of machines and distribution of machines, that, I would actually totally be fine with. I actually think that'd be totally dope.
I think in the metals material, like, because there's so much you could do with the different alloys and whatnot that could possibly make it easier to print. And like, I think that's really where that and software, I mean, the machines, I don't really think there's that much, but software and materials, I think could be.
The big move for machines is speed, right?
Yeah.
The big move is speed or accuracy, right? Especially on the metal side, if they can get closer to end use out of a machine parts, that would be amazing. Or even further, machines that have built-in 5-axis machining capabilities, so that as soon as it's done printing, it can depowder itself and go right into... Now, that's probably a feature creep problem, but it would be very cool to see a system that enables all of this.
Yeah.
Viper GTSR says mine's an '08. Yeah. Was that the Jeep? Is your Jeep an '08? He's local. He drove out here to get some parts in I think it was a purple Jeep Wrangler.
Did you see that Jeep announced that you can get it pink from the factory now?
I mean, why not?
All the, like, the Wrangler and the Gladiator you can get in, like, hot pink now.
Hot pink, yeah. And I don't think it is a strange idea, but I think Desktop Metal is going to have to do a lot of rebranding and like segmentation of the company to make that work, because it would work because they're doing resins for Envision Tech, they're doing powders for X1, there's a lot involved in it. That Jeep looks good for an '08. Shit. I thought that Jeep was like a 15 or a 16.
They still look the same, is why they haven't changed much.
But like a vehicle that's made in 2008, he lives a lot closer to the ocean than I do, and it's in Florida, right?
Rust.
Well, rust, not that. It's the sun. With the salt, tends to be a little troublesome.
Yeah.
His other car is a 69. Nice. But yeah, we look at... part of me wants to say it all depends on FDA. If we can get the FDA to actually work with bio 3D printing companies, I think bio is going to be the next big boom. But right now we are seeing a massive boom in metal. And it feels like one company got away with doing a SPAC that was really cheap. Like, I think it was like a $500,000 or $500 million SPAC, like a $500 million SPAC, which is nothing to go as to an IPO, and it worked beautifully. And everyone else like, whoa, wait a minute, wait, this is possible? And they're like, all right, everyone go public, everybody go public. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing this big move. But knowing, like, historically looking at 3D printing IPOs, they're so bad to invest in. Now, if you believe in the company and you want to invest, go ahead. Like, just go ahead. Yeah. Straight up. Go ahead. Like, we're not here to tell you how to spend your money. But I watch this stuff, I won't say religiously, but I watch it relatively often. We are going to set up a streaming PC because we're going to start streaming video games more. So that'll be only on our Twitch. So if you want to watch me suck at video games, that'll be on Twitch. But I think I'm going to use that streaming PC to actually have all the stock tickers open during the day.
And stream our live streams. Like this one. And you can have it stream like this one, so you don't have any issues like we're having.
Yeah, so I still think this is an OBS issue, and it's continuing to a point where I'm going to kill the stream again. I'm going to restart OBS, and I'm going to try.
It hasn't been freezing nearly as much now.
Well, so I'm not getting overloading issues, but I am seeing it slow down on my side. MT Polo says, I worked in a printing company, normal CMYK paper printers. Production systems for Desktop Metal would hopefully be the key in production. What do you guys know about these machines? The market is insane. Total EV LiPo SPACs are also crazy. Yeah, or EV IPO. Yeah, totally true. First off, totally true. What do we think? I still don't think that 3D printing is right for production. I believe if you have short-run production, and all right, let's back up. back up, Grant. Let's define production. Because when
Yeah,
I look at
there's a
production,
limit.
I want to see thousands, if not tens of thousands of parts per machine per day. That is production to me. Because that's what injection molding can do. Right? We
Metal.
look at what?
I mean, metal. There's only some tech that you can do that. Like only die casting could really be that quick.
Stamping.
Okay, and yeah,
Stamping can be that fast.
yeah,
But the trick with die casting, the trick with sand casting, the trick with casting in general is the casting that you're doing is generally clean and needs minimal, if any, secondary post-processing. With 3D printing metal, it all needs to be post-processed unless you're designing it to not need it. You could viably get to a point where you are producing a 3D print that is as effective as a sand cast, where you only need to, like the mating surfaces are the only things that need to be cleaned up. But then your post processes have to be good. The problem that we have here is we've got dead nuts post processing for casting, whether it's die or sand casting. We've got dead nuts post processing for that. What we don't have are dead nuts post processing for metal parts. I've ordered metal parts, and in the bag has been metal powder because it's fallen off the part during shipping. And I always look at car parts. Like if I could make an oil pan 3D printed, that's just die stamped, but an engine block. Let's 3D print an engine block instead of casting it. If you have any little bits of metal powder come off of that, you have grenaded the motor. Grenaded it.
That at the moment you'd have to machine that no matter what. Even like you'd have to bore out the cylinder wells.
Right, yeah,
like
you bore out the cylinders, but if you look, the outside of a block is totally clean, is totally rough. The inside of some blocks are also relatively rough.
Yeah.
Right? But again, it's because we have known ways of guaranteeing no metal.
Yeah.
And, oil filters are a thing. But, Ford's a great example on this. Ford was SLS 3D printing the intake runners for the Mustang, for the V6 Mustang, of course. And what would happen is those cars would have random backfires that would come out of the intake, and they would blow up the intake. So it would just blow a hole in the intake. That's a bit of a problem. Now, these are EFI controlled electronic fuel injections, so the car will instantly shut itself off because the mass airflow sensor says, there's no air. The car's like, no, there's definitely air. So it instantly will cut the fuel to turn the car off. If you're running a high-powered motor for some reason, you're using a mechanical fuel pump, if you get a hole in your intake, you now have a motor on runaway.
Yeah.
Because mechanical fuel pump will continue to pump fuel.
Continuous.
And unless you can turn off your ignition and pull your spark, it will continue just to run indefinitely, or it runs out. Tesla's gigapresses are nice, but look, that's Tesla. If you think a company that would be utilizing 3D printing on a mass production scale, Tesla would be the company to do it, right? Their owner is crazy enough to say, wait, what if we 3D printed it? Yeah. But they ended up going with gigapresses instead. Why? Because it's a known technology and works.
And you could do insanely large pieces in one piece very, very, very fast.
I mean, there is that too.
That's the reason they go press.
That's fair. I'd like to do the entire body panels at once.
They do the entire carriage, like the skateboard. That
right.
Pretty much is.
It's just one
cast. It's one die cast.
And that is definitely not a 3D printed part, right? Don't print that. But things like Koenigsegg 3D prints all their seats because the seats are designed to fit the owners, right? Now, that has a 3D printed shell that is then covered in carbon fiber. That's generally how Koenigsegg used to do it on the Agera and the CC lines. Do they do it now on the Regera, the Gemera, and the Jesko? I don't know, but that's how they used to do it. Huh?
Depends on the production numbers, probably.
all depend for the volume. Tesla's high volume production, speed is everything. Reliability to me is more important than speed, and I think that's one of the big places where 3D printing
Not
just
Tesla.
isn't there. We know people in the metal 3D printing industry. One of the most prominent people in the media for metal 3D printing. You know who I'm talking about.
That's Jay.
Do we have to tell people their names? I wasn't going to say their name, but...
I mean, it wouldn't be hard to...
I mean, that's fair. They're pretty great. But, you know, they do a lot of test printing, and we will see. I'm, like, chewing through my nails right now, trying, you know, hoping that this print comes out.
Just go look at their Twitter.
Yeah. At Incanel. I guess we'll put it out there. I don't think it's
public. They have like 5,000 followers.
Yeah, if you want to look at someone in the metal AM industry, Incanel is the right person to look at.
Yeah.
And I don't want my operators to wonder, am I going to lose $20,000? That's a tough thing for me to look at as a business owner and say, yeah, totally, we'll spend millions of dollars to have everybody on pins and needles constantly. Reliability is a big deal. If they are using it in aerospace, it is supposed to be reliable. Yes.
The parts are.
Also, and I'm going to put that out there, do not pester at Incanel. If you want to follow them and hang out and watch what they do, that's fine. Don't pester them. Because I don't want them mad at us because we gave out their Twitter handle. Don't be dicks. Yeah. Don't be dicks. It's like rule number 1. We have 2 basic rules in this company. Rule number 1 is don't be a dick. I'm not telling you what rule number 2 is. But yeah, simple as that. Reliability in aerospace. The reason they're using metal 3D printing in aerospace, and I guess I should say reliability, we're talking about off the machine reliability, like machine finishing reliability, not post-machine reliability. We're talking about parts off the machine. So will the machine finish the print or will the machine fail? Not will the part work in its final systems. We have finite element analysis. We can know within reasonable reliability of whether or not these parts are going to work. And when you're doing aerospace, you are doing so much destructive testing, knowing you're going to destroy the parts, so you can figure out, does it melt at 2,600 degrees or 2,900 degrees centigrade? And if you know that you can push your engine a few hundred degrees centigrade more before it melts down reliably, you've got a rocket that is stronger, it is more powerful, and you can put more thrust through it. Relativity Space is probably the best example of this. And if you don't know who they are, Veritasium did an awesome video on it. We would never be able to do them justice better than what Veritasium did. And if you are a StarCraft player, you will love their company because everything is named after StarCraft stuff. Yeah, you must construct additional pylons. But they 3D print the entire rocket. And they talked about it in there that the 3D printed parts warp. And they've spent years and hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, going through learning how the material warps. So what they do is they print it warped so that when it warps, it actually warps into dimension, which is amazing. Somebody asked, MT Polo asked, what is our opinion on nano dimension? This is the other issue with so many companies coming out. I don't know who the hell they are.
Yeah, I have no clue who they are.
Multi-layer, electrifying additive manufacturing, 3D integrated electronics versus Moore's Law. You are going to put on your website that you are going after Moore's Law? Buddy, you better be able to talk the talk. Nanodimension's Dragonfly LDM system is a one-stop solution for agile hardware development and innovative circuit design across a wide array of industries. It empowers companies to securely control entire development cycles through in-house additive manufacturing of PCBs and non-planar electronics with speed and precision, while reducing R&D costs. With lights-out digital manufacturing, LDM, printing technology. This is the industry's only comprehensive manufacturing platform for round-the-clock 3D printing of electronic circuitry. Wow. Light out digital manufacturing. That's something that they copyright. They have a copyright on LDM, lights out digital manufacturing. First off, that is marketing wank. And who the hell is Kathy Wood? Who's Kathy Wood? Is Kathy Wood
Catherine Duddy Wood is an American investor and founder, CEO, and CIO of ARK Invest.
No idea who the hell that is. I don't follow investment companies. I don't have that kind of time. John's like, they toss every single tech word in there. It's the SEO game, my dude. SEO, all the things. And, like, can you blame them? Okay, so to talk about nano dimension, I think we have to talk about the silicon shortage and how that affects them. So there are some key words in here. Non-planar electronics.
That's cool.
If they are able to basically create integrated circuitry and they have a way around the silicon shortage, to the moon. To the moon. But if they are unable to deal with the silicon shortage and they still have the same bullshit problems that the rest of us have of getting freaking anything, then none of this matters. Cool. You can print circuitry. Guess what? JLC can probably do it for less. Like, I hate to say it, but there's JLC PCB, there's PCB ways, there's a lot of these companies that will just cut circuit boards for you and populate them for no money at all, right? Freaking JLC, the boards that we designed, I got them quoted $2 for 10 boards.
Oh, yeah.
You cannot 3D print it for that. They are not making money. There's no way.
It's a volume play that they're doing.
It's an absolute volume play. Do I think the machines are cool? Hell yes. But
this is a really cool process what they're able to do though. If you go and click and dig a little deeper.
Oh, they're on the NASDAQ.
It's the non-planar circuitry is really cool.
NNDM is their stock ticker if people want to look it up. So let's look at them for the past few months here. Oh man, they're on the cheap right now.
This may be something.
So they're up 259% for the past year, and their stock is only $6. So, I mean, I would look at them the same way I look at Desktop Metal, right? They only need one decent innovation from an investment standpoint to be a phenomenal investment, but if they get slowed down by silicon shortage, by not being able to go after the things that they say on their website. And, Moore's Law versus 3D printing. I'm sorry, Moore's Law is probably going to win.
I don't see the silicon part of their tech at all. I just see it's three-dimensional PCBs, which is really cool because then you can embed circuits into a part without... I like
really their ability to do coils and inductors that are multi-layer. And I think that's cool.
Because, you could possibly print a motor. That means... much.
Now, where are my savings, right? So if
you're
I'm a business
keeping
owner,
it in one piece,
I'm a business owner. Where are my savings?
I think it's less about the cost right now because I think it's very new, but I think it's more that it's gonna let you have a lot more capabilities and design wise. Like if you think about it,
yeah, if it opens up new windows of being able to embed stuff.
Like it is same way that 3D printing. Like in general, that you have a lot less constraints than traditional manufacturing. I think this, just looking at this tech for the first time and not really digging deep into it, like whatever I'm reading on the website right now, and I want to learn more about their tech and possibly request sample parts.
Polo says they're not profitable and they don't have recurring customers, so it's very, very speculative, and that makes sense, right? How much of this is even real? It's the other thing we got to worry about. 3D printing companies are notorious for having very good renderings and very shitty end products.
Their soldering joints didn't look amazing.
I'm looking at you, gaming industry. That's mean. But yes, aerospace, and like, let's be real, their whole market is going to be aerospace and defense, right? If they're able to do things that you can't do with traditional printed circuit boards, or it enables you to do it better.
Yeah.
And at $6
I mean,
a share, I mean, honestly, don't have a cup of coffee this week. Don't go get your pumpkin spice latte this week. Don't go get your pink drink this week, and you can go buy a share of their stock.
Grant speaking from experience.
You know, I hate coffee. I don't drink it. My entire day is dealt with high quality H2O out of my 3D Musketeers water bottle that is definitely not some random water bottle from Walmart with stickers on it.
Yeah. I pumpkin spice and coffee does not sound good.
Coffee in general, I just don't like. My entire day, I don't drink caffeine or anything like that. It's just, you know, hopes and dreams of being a successful entrepreneur and playing the American dream. But yeah, I mean,
like if you click on any of the stuff on their website, it will bring you up to. No, if you bring it up to the capabilities and use cases, that first picture, like that use case, like having that 3D aspect of a PCB really is cool. Yeah. And like they embedded LEDs into it. Like that's cool.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's really
and printed capacitors.
Okay, but this is really slow. Printing time. I don't know what an AME is. Oh, additive manufactured electronics. So, printing time for 2 additive manufacturing electronics is 20 hours. 6 of them on a 160 by 160 millimeter area is 38 hours. Is it cool? Yes. Oh my god, is that not viable for literally anybody? Now, if you are a shop that wants to deal with sorry, I have to keep shifting. I'm having a bad back day. If you are a shop that deals in very high quality circuitry and you need to have very specific stuff, you may not give a shit about how long it takes.
Yeah.
You might care about accuracy, consistency, and repeatability. And if they can hit those numbers and they can do it reliably, buddy, that's a money printer.
I really want to try and get samples from them because this is really cool. Like their DC to DC up converter thing, because typically you'd have to have coils sticking off of it, and that's not fun and easy to put into a thing. You can print the coils into it.
Hold on, they're in Florida.
You should reach out.
I don't think they're that far from me.
You should reach out, and I want samples.
Hold on, I'm working on how far they are. Give me just a second.
Like this is really cool tech, and
oh no, they're down in Miami. Okay, that's a 4-hour drive.
I mean,
it's 278 miles each way. They're right off of I-75.
Yeah.
So I mean, the drive is easy. I am 15 minutes from I-75, and I can take I-75 all the way to them.
Yeah.
You know what? I need to go to Miami as soon as my back is fixed. I said my first big trip is going to be to Miami to go introduce Amber, my better 3/4, to my entire family, and my mom's side of the family who lives in Miami. Cool. I can write off that trip as a business expense. We'll go see if we can go visit Nano Dimension and do a video, because that'd be pretty dope. I don't know if they're going to let a 1,600 subscriber YouTube channel through. So with that being said, I guess I should segue into our sponsor, 30 Musketeers, and why you should subscribe. Because if you want us to do a tour of Nano Dimension, I need a bigger YouTube channel with a little bit more clout to make this happen. So your subscribe can help us get to that, I don't know, eventually high enough that they'll take me seriously level. But if you are looking to make cool shit, because that's what we do, right? We're not a Nano Dimension, because that's ostensibly cooler shit. But if you want to make cool shit, and you want to do it with 3D printing, CNC milling, and laser cutting, if you want to get your ideas out of your head and into your hands, give us a freaking call, shoot us an email. All the links are in the description. I trust you'll be able to figure it out.
MTP Polo asks,
MTP Polo, skip coffee and buy NNDM stocks. I'm sorry, this is not financial advice. The only advice I can give you is skip the coffee, hit the gym, and bro down. That's the only advice I can give.
We need to start naming this not financial advice.
So, yeah, I mean, because it's not. Like, you're 17, I'm 31, and neither of us are stockbrokers.
Yeah.
Um,
Not even. Yeah.
They say our channel will grow along with the sector growing too. I sure hope so. But I
Yeah.
hope that if the sector has a shitty, quarter where 3D Systems stock tanks, that we don't lose like 200 subscribers, because
That would be really fun. That'd be really funny. Like,
that'd be funny for
correlation-wise.
you. I'd be over here having a mental episode of like, that's a month worth of work down the drain. Because, that's a lot of money.
That'd be really interesting though if that did happen. Like,
No,
if people
shut
would
up, Justin.
unsubscribe
Justin, you
because
keep
of-
talking like this, I'm going to fire your ass live on stream. No, we're not. No. I do not want that to be so cyclical. So, okay. Hey, Nano Dimension is reasonably local, right? They're in the state of Florida.
Cool.
I was going to go look at a GS3D. I think they're in Miami as well. They're claiming to make filament in the United States, and they're selling it for $8 a kilo. I'm going to claim a lot. Exactly. I'm claiming a lot of bullshit on that. There is no way. How? How?
The margins on that though.
There are no margins at $8 a kilo. There's nothing.
That's like $1 a spool you're making, maybe.
Justin, even further, if you order 20 kilos, they give you free shipping. They're not making money. So I already emailed them, and I can see that they read my email because CRMs let me see those things. And it's been crickets. Not a damn thing. Nothing.
Yeah.
I have heard.
They're probably buying it on
nothing.
pallets from China for like
But
$5.
if you look on their website, they're claiming made in America. And if you look on their EU website, they're claiming made in the EU. That is not just wrong, it is illegal if it's not true. They have a public address. Next time I'm in Miami, I'm going to go friggin' knocking on doors. I don't give a shit. Right? You know me. I'm all about blowing up controversies. Monday's video, I'm going through the license agreements for the Chitu Box SDK, and let me tell you, it's a shit show. It's a shit show. That SDK is full of disasters. Desktop Metal should buy Nano Dimensions. Desktop Metal needs to be very careful about how much money they spend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be straight up about that. Because right now, I do not want to see Desktop Metal turn into 3D Systems. 3D Systems, when their stock spiked like that, it's because they bought a bunch of companies. Their stock started falling again because they did nothing with them. The acquisition of X1 is, in my opinion, one of the most undervalued buyouts in the history of this industry. They got X1 for $100 million more than MakerBot. And I hope they do more with it than Stratasys did. Stratasys decided to turn MakerBot into a prosumer education printer. Had Stratasys really kept MakerBot where it belonged in the consumer, prosumer, and then also released lines for professional and all that, I think they would have done a lot better with that line, and they would have become a larger powerhouse. I'm concerned that Desktop Metal is garbling up companies faster than they can do anything with it. And what happens to that IP?
I think if they can keep it kind of separate for now, for like the next year or two, I think if X1 kind of does their own thing before Desktop Metal really can do much to it, I think it will end up being fine.
I want to show something real quick. Viper GTSR said he had a 69 Pontiac Le Mans, and I don't know if you guys are car guys, but he sent me a photo of it. That baby is, buddy. Whoever, if you did the body work, come and fix my car. Shit, that's some gorgeous body work. Yeah, real pretty car. Seriously, pretty car.
Okay, so they're doing $8 a kilo. Oh, whoa. That's confusing. So they'll charge you more for free shipping.
I mean, most companies do because they work it in. I don't want to get too far into them because I do firmly believe that they're scamming people and that they're breaking like federal law, and if I can be the one that blows the hat off of that, I definitely want to. Oh, Eric's here. Hey, Eric. I'm curious what will happen with the X1 Repeata partnership now that X1 got acquired by DM. I don't know. I would guess that Desktop Metal absorbs that partnership, but from what we can see, and like from the rumblings that we're hearing in the industry, X1 is going to continue operation like nothing has changed. What happens is they're getting Desktop Metal on board in terms of usage, right? They're going to get access to Desktop Metal materials, Desktop Metal printers that are going to also be available to X1 customers. Frankly, the Repeatia and, any partnerships that X1 had, I'm more worried about servicing. Like, how's servicing going to go under a new company? But I don't know. I'm checking what the X1 Repeatia was. So, Repeatia enters strategic partnership with the X1 company. Repeatia is excited to announce a strategic partnership with the X1 company, a pioneer and leader in metal 3D printing industry. Released below. Because I don't know too much about Repeatia. Okay, so the strategic partnership, X1 has right of first refusal of majority ownership of Repeatia. So, yeah, and then Gelbart, don't know who that is. Dan Gelbart, so he's the founder, will become a technology advisor of X1. So X1 has the availability to buy them out. They have first right of refusal to do it. So, yeah. That's fair. It is a competitor of the DM Studio line. But, Eric, if Desktop Metal can buy Repeatia as well, they take a competitor out of the market. That would be interesting. I would guess that it goes away. I would think that it goes away. I don't know. Yeah, I'm sitting here saying I don't really have an answer for that. Because Repeatia is based in Vancouver. Oh, their website's really cool. I'll give them credit for that. Yeah, that's interesting.
This nano dimension stuff is really, really, really cool to me. I keep reading more about it, and it's like...
Yeah, I think Albarello is right. I imagine if the DM product line covers the same segment, they will go away. If X1 hasn't acted on this yet, I would guess that the strategic partnership was literally just to have a first right of refusal for a buyout. That's it. From like the initial first few lines, and you would think that like if there's gonna be more to it, it's gonna be up there. Of course, I'd have to read through the whole thing to know for sure, but. Yeah, I would guess that ceases to exist. And that's not unreasonable. Yep. But I think if you're Repeatia right now, you're probably a little scared, right? X1 just gobbled up so much market share with X1 that, yeah, I think I'd be worried. Skip 2 coffees. Okay, we'll buy some, but just to see what happens. Look, for as cheap as some of these stocks are going right now, why not, right? Again, this isn't financial advice. Spend your money how you want. If you are investing money, make sure it's money you can afford to lose. If you need help, call the hotline for that kind of crap. Don't call me.
We're the don't spend money on 3D printer hotline is what it's become to our Discord.
Okay, Eric is saying Dan Gelbart, Repeatia founder, has a YouTube channel. He has the best series on traditional prototyping methods. He built the coolest DIY lathe with air bearings and micro precision on YouTube. Yeah, you know what? I'm down. I'd watch it.
I'm gonna have to go find his channel.
Yeah. And MT Polo, I have to agree with you. They're not profitable. They don't really have real customers, Nano Dimension. But one good breakthrough from them and their stock price is going through the roof. So, you know, and like if their stock was, you know, Berkshire Hathaway, I'm going to say spend your money how you think, but like at $6,
Yeah.
You know, He says, yeah, you're entertainers. I'd like to believe I'm a little bit more than an entertainer, sir. All right, but if you want to put some dollars in my pocket over here, maybe we'll entertain.
Is that what the OnlyFans is for, Grant?
No. That's where we're going to put pictures of Victoria.
Oh, okay.
But, however, if you do want to support us next week, we are launching our Patreon. Well, technically next Saturday. A week from today, we are launching our Patreon. So if you want to be able to support us...
I didn't even know this.
I know you didn't know this. We're launching it on episode 52 of the podcast. Alberella says, but you have to look at the company's evaluation and not the stock price. It's true. And you should be able to find that out pretty quickly if you just go through their... their earnings reports. You can find all that out. But again, at $6, I mean, the most you're going to lose is $6.
Yeah.
Like, I've lost more than that in my time dealing with dumb shit from clients, okay? Their market cap is 1.557 billion. Nano. Yeah. They're fine.
Yeah.
They're fine.
Just a wee bit.
Martha Reyes asked thoughts on MKFG. So that's Mark Forged.
I like their parts.
I like Mark Forge.
It's really surprising to me that their machines don't have heated beds, but they don't.
I like Mark Forge as a company. I think their machines are kind of... The X7 is a good machine. I don't think any of the other machines are worth it.
Yeah, no.
Because... All right, Mark Forge has that continuous carbon fiber, right? And that's what makes them special. Both Justin and I have seen Mark Forge parts from a CT scan, and they look pretty on the outside, but they look pretty terrible on the inside, okay? They've got some shrinkage issues on the inside where the continuous fiber releases from the main exterior parts. But I believe the most valuable thing that's happened with Mark Forged is their partnership with Worth Additive. That, to me, is where Mark Forge, MKFG, wins. Let me take a look at their stock price right now. We look at Mark Forge. Oh, they're having a tough day. They've been having a tough 6 months. It seems like it's just industry standard that, you know, a drop of 50% over 6 months is fine. Mark Forge saw a dip of 35% over the last 6 months. If we look at their last year, they're down about 20%. But their stock price is only $8.30. So I believe with their distribution channels through Worth Additive, and now Worth Additive offering the ability for you to lease a Mark Forge printer, because
I didn't know you could do that now.
Yes, and I have talked with the CFO of Worth Additive about leasing printers from Mark Forge, because like as a small business, I can't drop 20 G's on a Mark III, but I can drop $2,000 a month to try it out.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's no like big contracts or anything, or
no? They want to do like a 3-year contract at like $1,500 to $2,000, which of course overcomes the machine, but they offer buyout.
Oh, you can buy it out at the end.
You can buy it out. Now
that's good. It's like a lease to buy kind of thing.
Right. Right.
That's not bad at all.
Eric says, I'm sad that I'm under an NDA now. Oh, Eric, what are you under an NDA for? You probably won't tell me, and that's fine. I don't blame you. Uh-oh.
I might need to go poke the bears with the people who I know who have lots of Mark Forge machines.
Eric sent me Dan Gelbert's YouTube page, so I'll put that there for you guys to see. Oh, Eric's under NDAs. That's dangerous. All right, Eric, you got to show up on some Friday calls a little swifty, and let's talk. So Alberello says the problem now is that most of them are not profitable, so you have to make estimation for the future to understand if the actual evaluation makes sense. Distribution is the issue. And with Mark Forge getting distribution through Worth, and if you don't know Worth, like the Worth Group as a whole, WURTH, I think, Worth, then you're missing out. Worth Additive is a $20 million company on its own without Markforged. And all they're just resellers. And that's all they're doing for Markforged. But with strategic partnerships like that, Markforged gains extra market share because now they have availability. Companies have buying accounts with Worth. If they can just use that buying account to buy a 3D printer rather than having to set up another vendor, this is moves that make sense. Markforged FX20, I know that. Baby. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
I think I know what it is
Don't worry
then.
about it. But, yeah, we had some other questions. Anyone trading LWAC and BLUW last week? SPAC redemption plays with similar price action pre-market. Boy, it reminds me of why I hate IPOs. All these words that I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know.
LWAC. Let's look them up.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, that's a Locust Walk Acquisition Corp, I guess. I don't know.
This we are not financial advisors.
Yeah, we are not financial advisors. This is not financial advice. Leave me alone. Don't at me. Make your own decisions, that kind of thing.
Grant has business degrees, and I'm in high school.
Actually, hilariously enough, I was on track to become a stockbroker. But I never pursued it because part of the way to get there is ridiculous. According to Markforged, the FX20 is the biggest, fastest, most sophisticated 3D printer Markforged has ever developed. Engineered from the ground up for unparalleled performance and consistency, the FX20 brings our patented composite technology to a larger scale and scope of applications and industries, capable of printing high-temperature thermoplastics with continuous carbon fiber. This beast of a machine delivers high-strength, aerospace-grade parts at the click of a button. They should pay me for that.
They should. We need to get a sponsor spot with them.
Yeah, send me a Mark III and I'll say cool shit about your company.
I mean, that wouldn't hurt them at all.
I can say bad things about their company. It's going to get them good press.
Yeah. The Onyx parts are really nice, though. Even the non-continuous fiber, like they're just
it's true.
pretty
Their
parts.
parts are really pretty. So if I'm going to, let's say, hedge a bet on this and take a stab at what they're talking about.
Friday.
No. High temperature thermoplastics with continuous carbon fiber. Smells a bit like Ultem with carbon fiber reinforced. Smells like daddy like, but daddy's wallet is not going to like that. So
especially if they're saying aerospace grade, because that's the only one
yeah,
that
it's
is.
Ultem, Peak, PEC, those are the aerospace grade materials.
Well,
yeah.
That's the only thing that the FAA has approved for flight.
Well, nylon is considered aerospace grade if you ask certain companies. HP. Oh, God, excuse me. Oh, that hurt. So NASCAR, NASCAR All Out asked about the LWAC and BLUW. I don't know BLUW.
I don't know.
I think these are just SPAC companies. Yeah, those are SPAC companies, so Blue Water Acquisition Corp. I wouldn't be trading them. Not recently. Shit. Yeah, they fell recently. I wouldn't trade them. Smell-o-vision for thermoplastics. Peter, get on it. Red/Ace, get on the smell.
Yeah, can you get like PLA smell than ABS smell?
Nobody wants ABS smell.
Yes, they do.
Justin, go get yourself some fire retardant ABS, print it in your house, and tell me how many times your mother not only threatens to murder you, but yeet you out of your bedroom window.
I mean,
it was so bad that I put the printer outside in my garage, and I deal with really weird smells from machines all the time. My VOC filters couldn't filter it out.
Nice.
Julian... that last name I'm not going to be able to do. Tweeted about LWAC on 8/24 after shareholders redeemed 97% of shares, saying, "That is the highest redemption rate I've ever seen. Pre-market 825 ran from $10.69 and $10 to $69 in 30 minutes. That is what you call market manipulation by people that understand it. It's just like when Elon Musk tweets something about Dogecoin. Dogecoin goes to the moon or tanks. It's like when Elon Musk tweets that they're no longer going to accept Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin dropped like 20-something% after that.
Or that he's taking the company public and he secured funding for $420 a share.
Yeah. This is market manipulation. If you want to follow these people and do that kind of thing, that's fine. I'm not one of those people, and I'm not going to do that. One, because I just don't care. If people want to make their money in the stock market, I wholeheartedly recommend they do that.
Just go hang out on Reddit.
Go hang out in the Wall Street Bets subreddit.
That's all you need.
Or is that still private?
I'm not. I'm in it.
Okay.
So
I am someone that doesn't like to have heart attacks. I played the stock market for a while. Hated it. It is just it's like, all right, it's 9:30, time to do a bump of cocaine because this is what the day is going to be about.
Yeah.
I can't. So so let me go to tweeted about LWAC. So let me bring up LWAC on 8/24. So we look at the 5-day mark. It did not shoot up. According to NYSE, it shot up to $19.45. That's what I show. So, or wait, no, that's Lithium Americas Corp. Why am I not able to see LWAC? Because when I look up LWAC, it does not come up. Yeah, I think it's a different stock.
LWAC runs wild, post 97% redemption.
Yeah, but I literally...
Locust Walk Acquisition Corp.
Oh, EFTR, I think. No. Is it EFTR? Yep. No. This is weird. So I can see on the 25th their stock went to $16.98, but now it's back to $11.96, up from $9.95. Man, I don't know. That one's weird.
STONKS
okay, their
weird.
ticker is now EFTR. Okay. They were a SPAC merger. Their new ticker is EFTR. And you know what? If you can catch ones like that, do it. But when somebody tweets after hours about something, it's too late. Right? You generally can't get in there. If you were able to get a buy early morning before it went on a run, good for you. Like, amen. And if you want to follow those people, go ahead. We are specifically going after, and I guess I probably should have been more specific in the title, 3D companies that are using SPACs to go public. I personally believe it's kind of a meh way to go public. It's like the poor man's way of going public. SPACs in the 3D industry have never done that.
Yeah.
Like, historically, I'm pretty sure they all go down. Because what happens is employees now have all this vested company shares that they're going to unload as soon as... Yeah, they're going to unload it immediately to get some extra cash.
Yeah.
And, like, who wouldn't, right? If I gave all the 3DM staff shares of common stock and then we went public as a SPAC, all you people would be selling that stock instantly, except for a couple of you diamond hand bitches that would be there hanging out with me, riding the wave to zero. I'm going down with the ship. But SPACs are interesting because now, instead of doing and going public is interesting because now your fiduciary duty is to your shareholders. And to me, that's troublesome. Because if you're a company that wants to release a new printer, but they'll make more money by raising their prices, you are technically supposed to be raising your prices because that is what is best for your shareholders. Yep. This is why Albarello says this is why you never buy a SPAC or IPO, because it is the exit point for early investors. And I completely agree. Now, of course, there will be some, and I would say generally do not buy. Never, or only assist deals and absolutes. There, of course, will be some that go to the moon as soon as they go public. I think Tesla did not have a red day in the first few weeks that it was public.
Mm-hmm. They didn't have a red day for a while since COVID.
The next day, Julian tweeted about GWAC, and it jumped 50% pre-market. But BLUW was the one that really moved and turned into a sympathy play to LWAC. I would look at what this Julian guy does, because if he is someone that's in the financial sector and is tweeting about this, that's on the border of problems.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It depends on if he holds any or not.
Yeah, that's fair. If he doesn't hold any, then it don't matter. God, my video keeps freezing, but thankfully the audio is still going, so...
Yeah, it's not as bad as earlier.
Yeah, it's still pretty bad, though. Yeah, if you are trading like Albarello says, yeah, you might want to play those knowing that, it might jump a little bit before it starts tanking, and know that if you can quick day trade stuff. But most people don't have the ability to day trade. Now, you could go to a cash account versus... So, a lot of people know stock trading from Robinhood, and I don't like Robinhood, but those are margin accounts. Margin accounts let you play with money all the time, but you can only do, I think it's 5-day trades in 5 days. And on the 5th day trade is when you get limited. Ask me how I learned that one. If you go to a cash account, you can day trade as much as you want, but those funds settle the next day. So if you have $2,000 in your account and you make $1,000 worth of day trades, now your account only has $1,000 in it because that extra money has not settled into your bank account. And so that's common when you have really big accounts, because it doesn't matter at that point. Yeah. If you are investing, you're going to want to wait till that stock drops and grab it at the dip. Remember, buy the dip. Buy the dip. Or buy high, sell low. I mean, that's how a lot of people have done things.
Or just buy high, then it just keeps going up.
Yeah, stonks go up. Don't you know that? Duh.
That's what's happened to me every single time I bought Tesla, was at their all-time high. And it's just gone up from there. I don't know.
So, NASCAR All S has definitely a trader. Bought BLUW. Literally held it for 90 seconds for a $7 a share profit. Dude.
That's nice. Good play.
Clap, clap, clap on that. Phenomenal play. But remember, all the people that bought for that $7 a share premium that you sold it for, that lost their asses on it, right? Thinking that, it's going to keep going. It's going to keep going. That adrenaline rush that NASCAR All Out likely had is the equivalent to just doing a rail of coke. Because, your heart is beating and you're sitting there saying, all right, when do I sell? When do I sell? And you're like, F it, selling it. And then if it keeps going up, that feeling of, shit, I missed an opportunity. Or if it goes down, you're like, woohoo! You're Homer Simpson, right? Especially if you sold it at that peak. I will never forget a play that I had with American Airlines. I was up $2,500. And then I went to sell, and the orders never filled. I lost $400. I was up $2,500. I lost all that gain, plus another $400 before that thing sold. Because I just kept lowering it. I was trying to dump it, try to break it, just kept going down. And now that was an option place. That's a little bit different than playing the actual market. Options are very dangerous. Don't play options unless you know what you're doing. But yes, you have to look at yourself and say, am I a long-term investor or am I a trader? And yes, statistically speaking, stonks go up, right? Statistically speaking, you could put your money in SPY, and you're going to make 8 to 12% a year, generally speaking. That's the spider fund for the NASDAQ. That's reliable, good money.
Yeah, index funds are just put it in and don't look at it ever.
But they're slow,
Yeah.
right? NASCAR All Out, if they put 20 grand into BLUW and made $7 a share on 20 grand worth of shares, they just paid 10 grand in taxes. The other thing you have to be careful of are taxes. So, MT Polo is asking you, which 3 songs are you guys? I am not talking about my holdings, and neither should Justin, and because
I don't own any anyways.
if we, I do. So if we start talking about our holdings, it really starts to like borderline financial advice, and this is not what you're here for. And if you are here for that, leave a like and head out, because that's not what we do here. But oh, let me see. I missed something. Okay. You also have to be careful about your tax implication. So if you hold a stock for less than 1 year and sell it, you are now paying capital gains taxes. Capital gains taxes are something like 30+%. Hi, small business owner. My taxes last year were 27.6%. 27.6 per freaking cent last year. I don't want to describe what it feels like to have more than a quarter taken away from somebody's taking a gumball out of my pocket for every dollar I make. And then like another 2.5 cents rolls out. But be careful, because if you made 10 grand and you went and bought a brand new car, or a used car, because 10 grand buys you a 20-year-old Honda these days, and not, or maybe 3 2x4s. Be careful, because you're still going to owe that capital gains taxes. And you might say, oh, well, I get a tax refund. Well, then you're probably not doing your taxes right to begin with. You should never, if you do not pay the government every year and you are getting a tax refund, you are not using your money effectively. When it comes to 3D printing stocks, I like the old guys. I am all over Markforged, personally. I'm over I love Markforged. I love Desktop Metal. Do I own shares in them? I'm not going to tell you. You guys know that I own at least 1 share of 3D System stock. I've said that many of times, but I own it for a different reason. I own it so I can get shit done with them, not for a investment play. It's the same reason why I own a share of FedEx, a share of UPS. It's so that when they screw up, I call as a shareholder where my problem must be handled. I am a partial owner of the company. You must handle my problem. Versus calling as a normal person off the street. Shit never gets done. I bought CCIV LCID at $16 and sold at $62. And before Relief Therapeutics at 5 cents and sold for 10 cents. 1 day later, it was at 50 cents. Missed a big opportunity. Both were with full portfolio. Bro. Y'all sons of bitches are some risky sons of bitches.
I could not do that.
Yeah, I can't, don't get me wrong. That's some great money to make.
I mean, I could do that with a couple $100, but
Now what I can see is if you did a CCIV LCID at 16 and sold for 62, and you take that better part of $40 profit, and then you play with that like it's free money, go ahead.
Yeah.
If you do not take the money out of your account, you do not, as far as I'm aware, pay capital gains taxes on it. I believe it's once you convert it back to cash into a bank account, that's when you pay those taxes on it. Now, the cool thing for me is I lost a bunch of money this year, and I got a bunch of taxes I got to pay. So I can take those losses from the stock market and apply them to my tax implications. So it's not that bad. MT Polo says, needed a quick start in my life. MT Polo, were you just, let's be real here. What if it went down? I don't know. I don't like adrenaline rushes. I love roller coasters. But roller coasters are engineered, and I know I'm going to end up at the same end spot every single time. The stock market is engineered by people much smarter than me. And it's not going to end up at the same place every single time. And I don't trust that I want to be along for that ride. Now, I've ridden some beautiful stocks. Sundial. Now, that's not a 3D printed stock, but I bought it 22.9 cents each. And I still think it's somewhere in the 80 or 90 cent range. So And that's a weed stock. As soon as marijuana becomes legal federally, that stock's going to take off. And I'll be very happy with my 150 shares or something like that. I don't know. I have quite a few. But there have been some energy stocks that didn't work out well for me because I said, all right, I believe. I'm looking at this and saying, where are we going as a country? Right? I'm also the person that says, well, when there's a big mass shooting, I'm going to go buy Ruger stock because it works. With the 3D printing industry, though, you kind of have to own at least one share of all the big players so you can see what their quarterly earnings are like. Because if their quarterly earnings aren't looking good, then your smaller stocks you're playing with are likely going to feel the burn as well. So you got to be careful about that. Well, okay, MT Polo's using it to try to not have any loans. That's how I feel. I feel just because that's not good. Oh God, it's just not right.
MT Polo, were you hanging out in the Wall Street Bets Reddit Discord?
Like, again, don't get me wrong. If you are good at this and you can accurately predict like that constantly, dude, go for it. You'll make more money than I'll ever make in my life. But I'd rather earn money the way that I know is reasonably consistent and guaranteed. It's called a job. Now, I'm a small business owner, so that's a completely different thing. But make sure, similar to what happened to us, make sure you diversify your revenue streams, right? Don't put all your money into tech. I had all of my money in biotech when Trump got into office. What a poor decision that was. I don't even think Donald Trump saw himself getting elected, but then it happened and all my biotech stocks tanked. SQL looks interesting for Monday. RNXT mini IPO'd the day before and doubled pre-market on Friday. But SQL also has DATS vibes. Oh, God. I don't miss the days when I was in stock discords. I don't want to go back to those. It's that kind of talk that's like, ooh, I should look. I'm like, no, Grant, stop it. Don't do it.
It's not financial advice, Brad.
Yeah, it's not. It's not financial advice. I'm reading comments, Brad. I don't know what DATS is. I believe I remember that one in that it went pretty vertical as soon as it came out. But yeah, make your choices the way that you want to make them.
It's okay. Just play crypto.
I saw my stocks go down when Wall Street Bets went crazy, but saw Wall Street Bets tweets early on, but didn't understand the size of the movement it would become. Yeah, I don't think MT Polo said that. I don't think anybody saw MT Polo or see Wall Street Bets do what it did. And you know what? I'm going to give them tons of credit because it's pretty amazing that they did something like that. Eric said, did you just say that you wanted a consistent revenue stream and then became a small business owner, Grant? Yeah. I did. Why do you think I'm a YouTuber now?
Is that consistent revenue too?
It is. I mean, we are consistently making small amounts of money every day. Yes, it's not enough to pay the bills, but it's consistent. Reddit, and because Wall Street Bets went nuclear with GME and AMC, a lot of people joined in and thinking, I can get a slice of this pie. So what happened? It became a cesspool. And it's not the way it used to be anymore, right? Back in the day, Wall Street Bets was a surefire way to get a decent play every single week. Now, it's a bunch of bullshit, right? So you got to be careful about that. It was just a bunch of people who all liked the stock. That's right. They just like the stock.
What Albreo said, like, there's a lot of really great YouTube channels about investing. I really like Graham Stephan.
I worry about those.
He consistent. He doesn't he doesn't do a lot of analysis on stocks. A lot of it, what he explains is like about credit cards, about how to build
well, especially at your age, that's a great thing to be listening to.
And he's always about, it's not about timing the market, it's about time in the market. Like I really like how his philosophy on it, and like if you can afford it, try and get some real estate, and like just to be consistently spread out across it and not be playing the games. Like that's what I really like. But like me, Kevin is streams every day and is playing games with the market a lot more than Graham. Like that's why I really like Graham Stephan, because he's very like
I like people that will
slow
teach
and slow
you.
with it.
Yeah, I like people that will teach you to invest.
Yeah.
I believe a lot of the day traders out there that are teaching you like options and day trading, if you have an account worth $100,000 of money that you don't care about, go watch them. All day long, go watch them, because you will likely hit something eventually.
Yeah.
But the average person watching these people, it's a pipe dream. The average person should not day trade. And if you try to do it and you get hurt, you end up, and I had this cycle, right? I started day trading, I started options trading, and it got to a point where it was really affecting my day-to-day life, right? I woke up at 8 a.m. so I could be ready by 9 o'clock, so I could be ready by 9:30. I had 2 windows full of stock tickers. I had my phone with the caffeine app, so it keeps the screen on constantly, ready. I had Webull on one screen, Robinhood on the other, and I was doing the same. It was terrible.
Yeah.
And eventually I said, fuck this, I'm done. There becomes a point where it is detrimental to your mental and physical health. And this is why I tell people, if you want to play the market and you want to play the 3D printing market, take the money. Wait a minute.
In the trash can.
Hold on. Nope. No. I got the blowtorch. Take your money and imagine you putting it in front of the blowtorch. And if that makes your heart sink, you're not ready.
And that's what I say anytime I ever talk about crypto, like to anyone, because I like playing with crypto. I think it's pretty cool, the technology behind it. And anytime that anyone asks me about it, and I'm like, if you have money that you can put in a trash can, dump some gasoline on, and throw a match in there, or a blowtorch, either one, don't touch it.
And Alvarez says investing is not gambling. I completely agree. If you're going to go into an index fund or something like that, where you can look back historically for 30 years and see reasonably consistent growth, and you're willing to put a couple $100 into it, maybe buy a fractional share, there's nothing wrong with that. But make sure you're doing it for reasons the right way. I firmly believe that one of the best gifts that parents can give kids are shares of Google, shares of Tesla, stocks that are probably not going to go anywhere. And
Apple, Amazon, Tesla, all of those. That's
or SPY, right? SDY. Because it not only potentially gives them a great avenue for investing, it also gives them an opportunity to understand this before the memery kicks in, and they say, well, like my identical twin brother is up 263% on memes. On memes! He's literally buying the meme and not selling the dream because diamond hands. And there's part of me that's like, I wish I did that. But then there's part of me that says, no, you're not mentally equipped to do that. If he loses $3,000, he's got a very comfortable day job. He's fine. $3,000, that's a paycheck and a half for him. He'll have it by the end of the month. For me, $3,000, that's more money than I've ever taken from my small business. And so that money is my savings. So that's very different. He's like, what the hell, I'll buy the meme, right? Whatever. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. He doesn't care. So you have to look at what your ability to spend money is as well. MT Polo, we're going to wrap this thing up here pretty soon because I know, Justin, you have to get going. What about food, 3D printing machines, and companies? Any breakthroughs on that side? Yes! There was
Cocoa Press.
What?
Cocoa Press.
Cocoa Press. Yeah, I guess. No, the one that I was thinking of is, let me find it, because I sent it to my dad. Savor Eat. Savor Eat just partnered with Sodexo. Sodexo does food service for colleges. Hilariously, I used to be an employee of Sodexo. So I'm reaching out to see if I can get a contact at Save or Eat because I want to have a 3D printed steak, damn it. I want a 3D printed steak. I think it would be cool.
I really
Memes
wonder
are
what
for
the
trades,
texture would be like.
not diamond hands. This is ridiculous.
Agreed.
It is. It is. Jonathan says he's currently down $6,000 from his all-time high, but he's still up quite a bit. But he's still, down 6K. Sodexo also does prison food. Oh God, are they gonna start 3D printing meat for prisoners because it's cheaper than using real meat?
I mean, they could test it out there.
That's fair.
That's probably what they would do, actually.
So 3D printing food has been coming out, especially because, look, the world is running out of space, okay? And we're not being very kind to the globe that we all live on. 3D printing food is viably going to have to be an option. And I would be the first one in line. Absolutely. I would eat 3D printed meat. The hell do I care? It's probably gonna have a really bad texture, but I don't really care otherwise. I'm not aware of any 3D printing food companies that are public. Now, I mean, God, we've had like 40 SPACs this year, so it's quite possible.
Possibly.
It's quite possible there are some, but I'm not aware of any.
I still haven't tried a Beyond. I want to try one of the Beyond Burgers. I still haven't tried that yet.
Empty Post says greenhouses will also become important. Well, I'm glad that I bought the $300 greenhouse from Harbor Freight years ago. That it is so hot in Florida, we have to take the succulents out of the greenhouse because it gets so hot inside. I don't know. Okay, so Lightspeed's here. He said 3D printing could replace chefs for like sushi.
That would be interesting.
I like the art of sushi.
I think sushi could be done by a robot for like super precision, super thin sashimi type of stuff. I don't know how 3D printed fish would be. That would be something interesting to get the flavor and texture down. I know like meat is pretty easy because I mean meat you can really mask with just seasoning. While sushi you don't really have seasoning on it.
Montreal, all the things, right? Yep. Little S&P makes everything taste better. I will say sushi's probably one of those. And it's not because I don't want to try 3D printed fish. I would try that too. I believe a good sashimi, that is art. And I don't want to see 3D printing or robots in general replacing the true artists in the world. Like, I can go get sushi from Publix or a supermarket, and it will be just fine. But I go locally to Bangkok Sushi. Every single time, basically, that I have a back shot, I go to Bangkok Sushi. I do shots in sushi. And the last time I was there, I met Uncle Jesse. So you can't tell me that's not a bad sushi place. But I go there because the quality that they provide is art-like. Yeah. It's not just food. It is an experience. And I believe sushi is... I don't know. I don't want to see it ruined, I guess. So that's what I do. I'm in the food business, mostly sushi business, and it's already being done by machines. I'm not surprised that, gas station sushi is being done by machines. And you figure high-end sushi restaurants are probably not going to go anywhere, and they're likely not going to adopt it. But supermarkets that want to provide sushi to people might look at adopting some form of robotic sushi. And that's where I see it potentially making sense. Because if you're going to go buy sushi from a supermarket versus going to a high-end restaurant for it, then you know what you kind of know what you're getting yourself into at this point, right? You're not after quality, you're just after the sushi taste. Or, I'm eating sushi, so you can replate it, take a pic for the gram, and move on, right? But I can see burgers, because, again, McDonald's.
It's ground beef. It's not.
Right. But, now, go to a high-end burger place, right? Like a mom-and-pop burger shop, like a nice burger place.
Yeah.
They're not going to do that because, again, that is art. And I think once we start intermingling 3D printing and traditional human-based art forms, we get a problem. Now, hilariously, we already do this in physical art, right, we have 3D printed art that does really well,
I think actually
but it doesn't
the first
devalue it.
places will I think the first places will actually see 3D printed meat though, and like 3D printed food would be in these very, very high end trendy
Because they can
restaurants.
afford it. Yeah.
Because they can afford those machines and be able to do like what's the like the gastronomy stuff, like the little bubbles and all that stuff. Like I think that's where we'll see it first, and then it will
Silicon
be
Valley style.
yeah, exactly,
It's a flash of light. Oh
exactly,
no, that's Parks and Recs, where the alcohol is put in your body with light.
yeah,
Um, I can certainly see that, but I think that is an addition to a menu, not a replacement.
yes,
Driving is an art too. Full self-driving is forever going to be 18 months out. Yeah, NASCAR's
2
right.
weeks,
I love that
2 weeks.
NASCAR's the one talking about full self-driving. How funny would it be if the Daytona 500 was all driven by, like,
There,
plaids?
there is a not three, autonomous races that they're going 100 plus 200 miles an hour autonomously on racetracks.
Oh, yeah. That's, I mean, no. It doesn't hurt anybody if they crash.
No, that I think is really cool.
And Bob
Like
Carnes makes a great point, production time. It's the thing that we started off with here, and it's why currently 3D printing will not overtake production. It is a phenomenal means of dealing with short-run manufacturing and short-run production, but full-on production, probably not. It's why McDonald's will not adopt 3D printing meat until it can literally handle 1,000 burgers an hour, because they need to be able to sell 1,000 burgers an hour. Imagine when NASCAR is electric cars. I have spent enough time in Daytona to know that it will never happen. I can't see it ever. It would.
I think it'll end up being a spin-off.
Part of the fun of NASCAR is the cars going by at blazing speeds, 8,000 ripums worth of raw horsepower instead of.
I think
That's not fun. No one's going to get wasted on Bud Light watching that.
I think it'll end up being a spin-off, kind of how Formula One is right now.
Formula E.
Formula E.
Yep.
But Formula E is way more fun than Formula One. Not just because it's electric, but there's so much more that they can do with them. It's a one-day event, not an entire weekend.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at NASCAR's comment. Pit stops will go from 14 seconds to 49 minutes and 14 seconds because you have to recharge them. No, they'd probably have a way to hot swap the batteries. Although, honestly...
Formula E is a time limit. It's an hour race. They don't go longer than that because of the batteries at the moment.
Yeah, the battery tech is limiting. MT Polo says it will be faster, cheaper, cleaner, and preciser. People will prefer it in the future from the traditional way, the same way people don't like mobile phones because they had one at they had a home phone. Yeah. Maybe. Right. I think that I would still get 3D printed food because I'm in the industry and I think it's cool. But if we can't get people to get vaccinated, for God's sakes, I can't expect them to eat fake meat. I can see it. Fake meat. It's going to be the new fake news. Like, for some reason, people believe that using cow dewormer is safer on their bodies than freaking a vaccine. There is no way that 3D printed meat easily gets into the market without a massive amount of bullshit to get through. There is not a snowball's chance in hell. However, I believe that once we start seeing more food 3D printing companies go public, that is kind of the time to really be watching. I don't think there are any of them. Are there? If you guys know of any food 3D printing companies that are public, let me know.
I mean, I know 3D Systems toyed with some stuff.
Well, yeah, but that was using their CJP stuff.
Nothing.
Sugar.
Yeah, nothing.
I would love to see electric cars more often. I want to see electric car racing. I mean, the National Electric Drag Race Association. If you've never been to an electric drag race,
I haven't. I need to find if Long Beach does that.
NEDRA,
we have a couple
NEDRA. That is so cool because these cars are pumping 5,000 horsepower instantly, right? I don't know any of the food printing tickers.
Mm-mm.
If there are any. If there are, I haven't been paying attention.
Yeah, I don't know
I'm
of
more
any.
curious for when some of the open source companies go public. Like, when does Prusa go public? That's a company that's IPO would go great. I don't think they're going to. And I don't understand why companies are going. I guess they want to keep raising money. But, like, ultimately to me, it's not about raising money. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just wait till someone shows up with a Tesla Plaid and puts a hurt on a Hellcat Red Eye. Yeah, damn right.
Yeah, the plaids are illegal at all the drag strips if you go full throttle on it because you run a sub 10-second quarter mile
Oh, and they don't have a
at
cage.
150 plus without a cage.
They don't have a cage. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you can run it once and then you'll get kicked out.
Then you'll get kicked out. Yeah.
You just sandbag races.
Yep.
And like that's cool. Don't get me wrong. I think that's cool.
The production car that's only less than 200K could do that. Nice.
Yeah, there's really not much else out there. Now, with that being said, there are a lot of 3D printing stocks out there. We caution you guys, like if you want to play, go play, but you have to be aware that this industry is very volatile. It's one of the most volatile industries that I've watched in a long time. And it's not like laws, like with the cannabis industry, the laws are what really kind of, duck and dive with the stocks. This is 3D Systems, Stratasys, it was X1. If any of them had bad quarters, everybody suffered. So, yeah. Oh, well, okay. Lightspeed says he races his Model 3 and beats Hellcats, now the Hellcats lose control like crazy. That's because people that buy Hellcats generally can't drive 707 horsepower.
And they don't know how to, and it's not on a prep surface a lot of the time either.
Yeah,
so
they're
like,
what are they doing? They're going full throttle right at they're just matting the pedal.
Yeah,
right?
No, you can't do that on a normal street.
No, you have to roll into it, right? It's with a Tesla, you don't have to do that, right? And so the Hellcat owner's be like, I'm putting this bitch in race. No traction control. We're gonna smoke this electric vehicle communist with American horsepower. And you remember that they're not really made in America.
The Tesla's the only one that's made in America.
I know, that's the joke.jpg. I really want a Tesla.
I love that.
Could someone, like, I don't know, get me a viral video or something so we can get enough YouTube money to buy a Tesla?
Oh, I'm at the point where I just want, I think it will save me money buying a Tesla than filling up my car with gas.
Yeah, because you live in California.
I think it will be cheaper at this point. Yeah, Lightspeed. I mean.
Do they have an EV cannonball record? I doubt it, because there are no EVs.
Yes, there have been. There's been a couple Teslas I've done a cannonball. I think it's closer to a day and a half.
So I'm only adding 12 hours to use a Tesla?
I believe.
That's a fair bit of comfort right there for 12 hours extra.
EV cannon.
Yeah, Bob is right. If you have a car you're not making payments on, it is the cheapest car you could ever have.
Closer to 2 days is the record.
Closer to 2 days. How awesome would it be to have an ID Buzz food truck filled with 3D food printers? Oh, yes. I mean, that would be so dope. I would, like, and again, I bet if you had a food truck with 3D printed meat, you'd get a fair bit of business because, like, you're the only one that does it.
Yeah, it's the Buzz has like a little floating Buddha on the dash. It floats. It has like the electromagnets that make it float.
Does it really?
It's really cool.
That's hilarious. I love it.
It's really cool. I have a picture. I think it's on my Snapchat. I'll send it to you.
I'd never heard of an ID Buzz until now, but you live in California, so you've probably seen them.
Oh well, I've seen it at the auto show.
Oh, I don't leave the house. I went to the post office yesterday, and I'm like, oh, I'm out of the house. This is cool.
I have school.
I'm waiting for... I'm waiting, like, now that we're growing a YouTube channel, I'm waiting for the first time I get recognized in public because of YouTube. Oh, an electric... Oh. I don't know. Whatever. Anyways, anything else before we call this thing? No?
No,
I mean... You gotta go. You're visiting family today now that you're negative.
Yeah. So
Damn it, we had some really good jokes we could have done. I'm not just sure. I'm XXX positive. A little South Park meme that would have been funny.
the ID4
Oh,
is actually
Eric's asking what
really
the gas
cool.
price. Oh, because Eric's in the EU, so he's gonna hate us. What's the gas? It was 4.89 a gallon, right?
Yeah, that was for premium. So around 469 for regular.
Nice.
Yeah.
It is $2.89 a gallon here in Florida.
I'm really at the point where I think it would be cheaper to get a Tesla, but I don't have the money for that right now.
Well,
But
you also pay 25 cents a kilowatt hour for energy. I pay 11.
well, we're still screwed from the Department of Water and Power because they can't figure out my electric bill, but that's a different story.
Yeah, Eric, what's the price of fuel by you? Because Eric is in, I think he's in Sweden, but I'm gonna maybe,
Sweden.
yeah, I think he's in Sweden. Because like he's probably $1.89 a liter, I would think. Let's find out. Oh, okay. Well, in Stockholm, it's $5.80 per US gallon, apparently,
Okay.
according to the internet.
With what Bob is saying about battery replacement plus electricity is way less than maintenance plus fuel. Yeah, because there is pretty much no maintenance on an EV except battery swaps eventually.
Yep. Yep.
Or unless you do something, unless it's like user error or you hit a pothole or something.
If you guys want to talk EVs one day, let me know. Like,
Yeah,
I would love
I'd
to
be...
talk EVs one day. Okay, $1.92 per liter.
Yeah, Lightspeed. We put solar on our roof, but the Department of Water and Power is adding what we feed back to the grid with what we're using, and so our bill is more than 3 times what it should be right now.
I just paid $218 for a month of energy.
We're not going to talk about what they're doing to us right now.
Oh, but you don't want to. You love California.
I like the weather.
Oh, apparently MT Polo's in the Netherlands. Cool. We got an international podcast here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, brakes and bearings, but brakes are less because you have the regen. So, but bearings, yeah, but there's way less moving parts, which is pretty cool.
Well, that's nice. In Arizona, you basically pay equal.
We're supposed to actually get 1.2 times back whatever we feed back into the grid back like on our bill. So it's actually good. It's just our meters all screwed up and it's recording everything wrong. Like the Tesla app shows that we're like almost equal what we're feeding back to the grid, and so we should actually be getting just about 0. You're young, you're gonna be hard on the brakes. Yeah, so what Lightspeed's saying, if he feeds a kilowatt, he gets a kilowatt back. If I feed a kilowatt, we should get 1.2, 1.3 back, but it's all screwed up, so. Yeah, and tires would probably be the thing. If I had a Tesla, that would be gone pretty quickly.
You are too young to have a vehicle like that because I know that you would do dumb shit in it. I saw the pictures of what your friends did to your car and their cars and how they got in trouble for doing dumb shit.
Yeah. I still need to wash my car, actually.
Go wash your damn car. All right. We're out of here. Anything else?
No.
All right.
We should talk EVs, though.
Yeah.
In a couple
If
weeks.
you guys... I'll put out a community poll. I'll do one tonight about what you guys want us to talk about. Next week's podcast is already set. It is episode 52, which is 1 year. It is going to be as many staff members from 3D Musketeers as we can get on the podcast, and I'm going to let them roast me if they want to. So that's
I need to start
fun.
writing mine down.
You're going to?
I need to start writing mine down.
Great, because I'm ready. Justin, you know that a roast goes both ways, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just understand the things that I know. Chipping. Because I can tell that whole story.
Yeah. I mean, it's been told multiple times,
It
so.
has been. All right. We'll see you guys later. Keep an eye out for the community poll. Leave a like on this video. Make sure you get subscribed. Because we're going to put a community poll out for what you guys want to see us talk more about on these. We have another stock talk coming. We're going to bring on someone that knows way more about this industry than us. And it is going to be fun. Brad says he opts out of the roast. Hilariously, Brad is one of the few people that could roast me, and I have very little to roast him on. Because he is such a pure child, and it really upsets me how pure Brad is.
So, Brad, just roast him really hard, and then he's not going to have anything to come back at you with.
I'm sure I could think of something. You bought an Ender 3 instead of buying a Prusa. I can roast you on that. But, like, no, literally... Yeah, see, even Eric knows. Don't let Justin do shipping. Justin almost got me in trouble for a federal crime. Brad has done none of that. And if you look at the bar...
And I still got hired.
You're still hired. That's right. I fired people for way less. That's hilarious, though. Anyways, we're out of here. We're out of here, guys. Keep an eye for that community post. Make sure you vote in it. Leave a comment or something like that. Get subscribed. Leave a like. We'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to call your loved ones. And as always, keep making awesome.
Bye, guys.
Have a good one.